Well, let's watch the replay.
Sure.
Because this horse, this was not where she wanted to be at all. She was just so ranked. She never settled. Paco had a hard time with her as far as the way his. Okay, here's one thing about jockey Paco Lopez is he's not going to let a horse settle typically. In that situation here, he's in her mouth, and she's not helping him because she's got a short neck, and when she gets ranked, her head just kind of falls into his lap. But she never got any coverage. A lot of times with these horses, and I know for a fact whenever she is with Brendan Walsh, when you work these horses and when Brendan likes to work them on the grass, he'll usually put them behind a horse, especially a filly like this, so just get him to settle a bit. And she never had anybody in front of her to cover her up. I think if she's, one, with the blinkers off, and two, just do what she wants to do, maybe we'll see a different version of her, maybe.
And Brian will lose $60 because she's not one of the 5 horses I'm using. She has been, you would at least agree with this, as big a disappointment as there's going to be running today.
Agreed. Oh, yeah, completely. It's not like I'm in love with her.
No, and now they're, you can have her for 35. Right. They tried second time out for Ben Trask. Irad's going to get aboard. Hey, those are great positives.
Yes,
but as she's your morning line favorite in here, and looks like they want a better lower than that, and absolutely not for me. I've seen plenty from Lauriston that says nope. Cake's tap dancer. I think it's significant that I'm picking a newcomer. Yeah. Because I don't really like anybody of the proven gals around here, and she's run okay at our sister track.
Yeah, she has, but this is just a barn that, although I respect it a lot, that maybe there are more now horses, maybe, and I see what you're trying to do because they're nice figures that she's been running at least, and Jorge Ruiz gets aboard, and whenever he usually rides for Michael Matz, so I feel like that's a good sign here. But I wonder where her form is. At least she's got some tactical speed. I feel like that'll help.
Yeah, the first her summer in Toga, hey, not a bad race to be a first-time starter, though this post doesn't help her.
I think that's exactly what I said on my analysis. Not a bad race, but the post is just not ideal.
Going a mile on the turf, the rails at 45, you're in a problem out there. Right. Race number 2 kicks off the early pick 4. I'll tweet that ticket out in a little bit, and this is a mile and a 16th on the Tapeta. These are 3-year-olds and up. The tag here, $10,000, scratch to 2, Castagno, and we got the exacta reverse. You're on. Well, I mean, these are the 2 horses. There's no doubt about it. Spitzer Procomete and Mobu. Let's show the race.
Yes.
Ronnie's a long shot last time, ran so well. Might have been his best bet, actually, trying to loop the field here. Mobu got caught chasing Swan Lake, and all of a sudden Swan Lake's really good again, and Mobu paid the price.
I don't know what to do with Swan Lake. We'll see him a little later, right? Today? Yeah, I don't know what to do with this horse today, but it was Spitzer Comete was kind of up against it from the beginning, getting the rail draw, and then was very wide off that far turn, and you look now, it was just too little too late here.
Yeah, I know he was wide in this spot. To me, Mobu ran a much better race. The winner was about 37 lengths the best. We'll talk about him later on. Remarkable how he won it in his form again. Right. So we'll get to him in a second. I'd be hard-pressed to come up with somebody else in this race. Science is in the mix. He's at stretching out. If nothing else, that could be interesting. Let's get to now race number 3, $35,000 optional claimer. Of course, the Florida breds do not need to dip in for their tag if they don't want to. It's a clean field of 8 here, 6 furlongs on a fast main track. 2-year-old fillies going at it. Number 7, City Tao, the firster for Steve Caceres on top for you.
Well, she scratched yesterday, and I actually had her in my mix yesterday on the grass. Now, I'm not sure about the 6 furlongs. I think she's going to want a little bit further than that, but she had a nice gate drill on the 27th of November. I think that's a good sign. She wasn't working with much, but she was doing it really easy, Brian, and I think that's a significant sign here. The barn, not really that great with first-time starters, and you can see it right in front of you on your form here, but I do think that she might have a little bit of talent.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Hey, she's not in for a tag. No. It's a great sign. They're going to take that waiver. Steve knows what he's doing here. I know he's not a first-out guy, 0 for 11, but, you got a Hall of Famer aboard, John Velasquez, too. There could be some intent. Right. Same thing with Motown Omi, who is going to debut for the 35. Big fast works here for Mike Yates, who we know can pop at first ask.
Yeah, especially with these dirt sprints. Yeah. I don't like to put people in a box, but he's one that has just been very, very good with horses on the dirt and sprinting.
Yeah, and it's, 35, but a daughter of Motown who stands for 5, so certainly not giving this horse away. My partner and I can be very stubborn, admittedly, but I think there's a reason we want nothing to do with the 2 Classy Chatterbox.
Yeah. She was supposed to win.
I bet her last time.
Yeah.
Okay, I bet her.
Yeah.
She was dreadful.
She was. She really was. And she was working beautiful coming into the race. I think we showed it last time. She was working with Charlie's Wish. She was a stakes winner. And, yeah, she just didn't. Now, maybe to her credit, it's hard to go 7 furlongs on debut. Now we're going to cut back. But all of her breeding said that it shouldn't have been a problem for her.
No, not at all. And she was literally under a hard chase from the moment the bell rang.
Yeah.
Feedy was good that day. She
Very
didn't
good.
fire in the stakes, but that was at 2 turns. But Fontana de Trevi, the 1 horse, ran second. And, no, I'm not trying to disrespect her at all, but, she was a football field behind her.
Exactly, yeah. When you go and watch the race, it looks a lot different than it does on paper.
And now IRAD gets aboard,
Yeah.
and you're going to have to take another short number on a horse that, honestly, it's a total guessing game right now to see what she gives today. Race number 4, mile and 16th on the Tapeta. 12-5, 2 L's here for 3 and up. We scratched the 1 Gemstone Warrior, the 3 Blaze of Color, the 11 Tio Tony. They are out, and that means the 13 Cajun's Choice says, yep, I'll jump in, and he's going to run. So take note of that. And short price on Remerton, and it makes a lot of sense, especially with a couple scratches as well.
Yeah, this horse really was impressive in his last race. It's hard to double back on wins here sometimes, and they took him from the 35 level to the 25, which I feel like is a nice lateral move. Now in for the 12-5. When you get into these kind of claiming races on the Tapeta, I feel like they all can kind of bleed together.
Yeah.
So the second place finish was good. It was a good race too.
This horse was a lifetime maiden, and you have to give him credit for running second last time because the winner was good. He wasn't supposed to win, but he ran a good second. Roddy Valente, the owner here, is going to put him where they can win. He likes to win races. They're basically out on this horse. They claimed him for a quarter. He's run second 3 times with a win in the other start. He's looks to be in a very, very good spot today. Mobe, please, for Jose D'Angelo. I mean, there's a couple horses. He is one of them that have absolutely no form whatsoever that are total guesses, right?
Yeah, this horse really is a huge guessing game. It ran here a year ago, almost to the day, in a 3-horse field and ran second.
Yeah.
There was nothing in the race at all, but at least this horse has some Tapeta form, and now we're going to get into the Jose D'Angelo barn.
I like what you're, I guess, essentially not doing with Iron Man Jimmy, and that's using him. I scratch into him for second. I mean, he was avoided claim last time. He worked with the Sundial in the morning on December 7th. I mean, I'm staying away from him for sure.
And 3 Wolves wasn't any good yesterday.
Nope, not at all. And for some reason, they bet him off the board. I still have no idea why they did that in the opener, but he was not good at all. So that's a very, very good point. Race number 5 now. Go a mile and 16th on the turf. $35,000 maiden claimers. What a race this is. Scratch the 2, Focusin 12, actually. The 12 through 16 are out. So not only the AEs, but the 12 Hurricane Express are out. We're going to have 2 short favorites in here between the 1 and the 10. And it also kicks off the TT Pick 3. And you want to talk about a beast of a sequence.
Woo.
It is today.
It is
for sure.
Yeah, and Brian and I did a video on it. I've got a $54 play here. Ron had a long shot. I think his long shot scratched out of it.
Same long shot as me,
Yeah, that's right. Yep, okay. But this race we'll get into in just a moment. Race number 8. This is the Tropical Park Oaks, the Fillies division today. I am spreading. I do have the 8 on top VView, but I am spreading. Then my best bet today is Silent Heart in the finale. It's $54 the play. I'm fairly confident with the anchor here now. It's just getting to that point.
And it won't be easy in race 1 because you've got 2 favorites that I'm going to tell you what, to me, look vulnerable and do not have to win.
No.
So let's see what you're doing here. You're going with the 10. Take your seats. I made the 1 the morning line favorite with Pletcher and Irad. Would be no surprise if Chad Brown and Seth Klarman here, Klarvich Stable, are the favorite. We're going to vie for it. Take your seats. These are 2 horses now. Things just didn't quite work out to plan.
No, not at all. It's the end of the year. It's Clearvich Stables. I don't really feel like they mind dropping one in for 35. They're not even giving this horse away. This horse needs to do a lot more running. Obviously, this is a cut below the talent that the Chad Brown barn has. He's just a handy horse. I think the fact that they've got Tyler aboard is a good sign, and this is a field where there's not a lot.
Nope, not at all. This horse or the one are supposed to win, but you tread a little lightly at short numbers. Neither of them have an abundance of early speed either.
No.
That could be a problem. And if nothing else, as a first-time gelding, John the Baptist with plenty of speed, or at least tactical speed, should be involved throughout. And stretching back out, I'll take a stab with him.
Yeah, hey, you're allowed to take a stab in a race like this, because you get a horse like this home, and you have Raylu Gutierrez aboard, who's very aggressive with these horses early on, which is a good sign. And I hope that you can look at a form and say, okay, this horse has been in the front before at Saratoga. Let's put him up there again.
So Oscar Worthy is interesting for Brian Lynch. These Indiana horses have been dreadful.
They really have. Yep, they have. This is an exception with the Brian Lynch barn. I don't know, because it's still just too early to tell. But the Johnny Velasquez angle, I think, is a good sign getting in. And he's run okay on this turf course before.
Yeah, they'll probably bet this horse a little bit. But, boy, he did not run well last time at all. And here he is for 35. 11 of them for you here on a big Saturday at Gulfstream Park. So let's take a quick break. We've got 5 down. So when we come back, it's Rainbow Six time, $500,000 in the estimated jackpot. Can't wait to talk about this. Stay tuned.
And they're off.
New DRF All Access Past Performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access Past Performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
And welcome back to Gulfstream today. Brian and Samantha with you. What a good 11-race card we have for you today. We've gotten through 5 of them. Rainbow Six time here in race number 6. And as I mentioned before the break, $500,000 is on the line, an estimated jackpot, which I agree with wholeheartedly. It kicks off in race number 6. Ronnie's coming out here for the opener. Let's take a look at his ticket before we get into this one here and see what he's got going. This is a whale of a sequence today.
It really is. And look, wow, he's got an anchor in the last race with the 10. But this race 6, he is spreading. Race number 7, we've got 2 very competitive maiden special weight events on the dirt for the 2-year-olds. He's got your best bet, which is the one Commendatore here. Race number 8, he's spreading. That's the Tropical Park Oaks. He doesn't have my top pick in there, but he's got the 3 Bell of Rights, the 5 See You Around, Life's an Audible, and the 12 In Our Time, who's coming off of the Scheller Shiraz win. I think you like that horse today too, don't you?
Yeah, I think she's with the scratch especially. Yeah.
In race 9, she's got the Brad Cox runner of Rapture and the 9 Bossimo for Todd Pletcher. And in the double, the late daily double, the 2, 4, and 9 in race 10, and in the finale, that's, I would assume so, is his best bet. That's Cugino, who is a stakes winner. Nice horse for Shug McGahee, 43.20.
Yeah, that's the Derby there in race number 11. Let's kick it off here in race number 6 now. 6 furlongs on a fast main track. Optional claimer for the State Breds, the fillies and mares. Clean race, but Jonathan Ocasio will ride the 1 major price. Okay, so take note of that. You're going to start it with Traverse, who, this is a dangerous horse now because she's getting back to the dirt.
Yep. And
the dirt gals in here, they're not really any great shakes.
Yeah, they're a bit shaky.
Right?
I couldn't agree more with you here. And when she was on the dirt and she was disqualified and placed 4th for some stretch interference, she was against Open Company. Now we're back in with State Breds again. I like the fact that Drayden gets aboard, too.
Yeah, the post bugged me a little bit because she's likely got to win this race as the inside speed unless Julie's Legacy clears off. Let's take a look now because the gang is all here, and she's not picking the gang, and I like that, too. Julie's Legacy Atlanta Alexandra, Major Price, and Star of Saturn. Star of Saturn was so bad in this spot. She has been in 2 starts in a row.
Yeah.
Julie's Legacy, as she's known to do, doing all the dirty work on the front end, and couldn't quite see it out in this spot, but I thought this was a pretty solid effort, all things considered.
It was, because she was passed.
Yeah.
But she still kept fighting on. A lot of horses will just throw in the towel, and on a rainy day, the track guys do such great work with this track, but sometimes the inside's not always where you want to be in any situation, and she got tired. She was in her left lead, but I think it was just, there's a lot going on there. But she ran her biggest figure.
Crazy fast race.
Exactly.
That was.
That was a huge figure. So is that the exception or the rule? I'm hesitant to come back, especially. What was the stat I told you about the other day with Rohan Crichton? The last 20 days?
Yeah, he's been very cold.
I'll come back with it. Not good.
Very cold. I've never liked her, admittedly, but I got to give her credit. She finally felt like running again because she was absolutely terrible in her last 2 starts. So maybe it was a slop. We don't know. She's worked well since then. Irad says, yep, I'm here for you. So, these are potent guys, Rohan and Irad together. Now let's get to the late pick 5. We got 2 really dynamite maiden special weight races today as well. 6 furlongs for this one. Co-races later on going a mile. Let's take a look at Samantha's ticket, and then we'll get into this late 5.
It's a $72 play for me here. I can cut down this first race, seeing them in the paddock, but just initial thoughts, the 1, 5, and 9. Race number 8, that's the Tropical Park Oaks. I cut it down a bit more than I did in my Tropical Turf pick 3. I didn't have as much room here, but the 8 I do have on top. That's VView. Race number 9, I have the 6 on top. That is Shot in the Dark for Jenna Antonucci. Race 10, just 3 deep for me, but I do have the number 9 on top, and that is Valentine Bug. In the finale, there's my best bet, Silent Heart of the number 9, 72.
I like it. It's that kind of sequence. I don't think there's any doubt about that. That's why we're forecasting 500 in the rainbow, and this late 5 is going to be a big one as well. And I'm interested to hearing your thoughts now on this one. Now, this is a 6 furlong race for the 2-year-olds, and we'll start it with you, the 9. Now, you're not going with any of these potentially salty firsters. Ain't No Disco, 3 starts in Kentucky for Brian Lynch, 4th start here in Florida today.
Yeah, look, this horse on figures, and if you look at the sheets, the horse is stuck in neutral. It's just tripled 11s in the last 3, so hasn't broken through, but I like the fact that, 1, this is a fit horse coming into this race. I like whenever Brian Lynch, who's got 2 in the race, I like when he uses Edgar Perez.
Yeah,
and this
is his guy.
Yeah, and this is a good outside post position here. Maybe the running style could be a bit problematic because he's not one that guns it to the front end.
I should have mentioned, and I'm sorry I didn't, the scratches of the 3 Kingdoms, the 4 Playa Del Mar, in the 6 What Me Worry, who was Samantha's top pick in a long shot. Could have been a fast one. We'll wait to see that one for Kenny McPeak. Good to see Kenny's name back in the entry box. My best bet of the day. Let's take a look at Commentatori. I'm surprised he's not in the mile race. I don't train horses, so I'm not going to pontificate any more than that. I thought this horse ran absolutely huge, chasing a freak show for Safi Grayscale. I can't believe Commendatori, especially at 7-1 for these guys, was all that cranked. But watch him. He's going to be second very, very easily. He's been under the hard chase the whole way. Samantha, I love this effort, and I wish he was running longer, but I think he's going to stamp himself as a real serious horse today.
He looks like it, and he'll be able to prove it today. And unfortunately, the luck of the draw, it's not ideal getting the rail. But to his credit, at least he's got a race under his belt. He was an interesting one at the sale because he breezed so fast. He breezed 9 and 4, but he was one that when you watch him walk, he had a very short walk, but he breezed, and his action is so much better than that. But look at this with second-time starters for the Gustavo Delgado barn. Only 12%, but this is a small sample.
Yeah, and the stock for this barn is completely blown up with Mage winning the Derby. The horses they have now compared to the horses that they had 4 and 5 years ago are non-discussable night and day. And these guys have a slew of top nice prospects, and to me, he's going to the top of the list today. I don't know how to say. I don't know if it's Mallorca or not with the 7. I thought because the double L's is from Spain, Mallorca, but regardless, Todd Pletcher with a firster. El Torino, Kinda El Torino, was very fast.
Very, very fast.
Let's take a look. I didn't like this work all that much. I don't know about you.
Man, you're getting good. How about this? Yeah, and no, this wasn't. First off, this horse was not working with anything at all. It's the inside horse that we're paying attention to here, which the inside can be a bit deep at Palm Beach Downs. So, look, he switches into his left lead in the late stages of this work. To me, he seemed a little bit kind of gassed. He looks better than he is due to his company, I think.
Yeah.
But at the end, he's not. He switched into his left lead right then. I'm just not a huge fan here.
Tote board race. We'll see if he's live and taking money with Ira. Brendan's got the 8 Gosker, who's been, at least if nothing else, very fast in the morning. You're not putting him anywhere, huh, Brendan Walsh?
No, I went back and forth with whether to put this horse in. They've been drilling him quite a bit. Yeah. He's a half to Harvey's Little Goyle and Glorious Princess. Brendan trains Glorious Princess. She's actually out on the posters around here. This gray horse. Yeah, she was for the Sunshine Meet. But anyways, those were all grass horses. Really impressive grass horses. I like the turf is always going to be there. So I do like the fact that the horse is breezing good on the dirt. Try him. We'll see.
Grass horses that wanted to run a lot farther than 6 furlongs.
You couldn't ride a race long enough.
Absolutely. Harvey's Little Goyle third in the Alabama as well. She was good.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Here's the Oaks in race 8 now, kicking off the late pick 4. Mile and 16th for the 3-year-old fillies in this spot. Long shot scratch for Ron and I of the 6 Random Harvest. Kisu is out as well, as is the 13. The 10 is out, okay, as is the 13 Strike When Ready in the 15 Justified Strategy. Unfortunately, a lot of value comes out a little bit. Let's take a look at my late pick 4 ticket, and then we'll get into this race. This is a beast of a sequence as well. $45 for me. Race 9, my top pick is the 2, and that is Virage. Chad Brown trying the main track. Total stab there. Race 10, I've got the 4 Swan Lake, grudgingly. Well, he's all good again for some reason. And in race number 11, I'm with Samantha wholeheartedly. Silent Heart might be ready, poised to have a really big 2025 for Brian Lynch. Okay, let's get back to the Oaks now here in race number 8, because this is a doozy. I felt of the 2 races, the Oaks and the Derby, this was the race, Samantha, to maybe get a little funky. Unfortunately, my pick and Ron's long shot as well is out. You're going to try to get Viv Verve up in time, which did not happen last time. Let's take a look at the Scheller Shiraz.
Yeah, this was a good race, and we kind of got the gang all here. The top 3 that are in this race that we're watching the replay of are in the race here today. VView is one that I think was a bit compromised by the rail draw here today on this race. The rails were at 66 feet. It's hard to make up the ground like she did, and just the way that she was too wide on both turns, but it's even more so with the ground loss of the rails. In our time, sat up perfect. De Regresso is what she is. I don't know. What do you make of that?
Well, I make of that In Our Time is always going to beat Viv because she was real flat last time.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but she's going to be back there again. And, especially with the scratch, I did not make her the morning line favorite because Irad is on a Belmont chipper that was in a graded stakes race. In Our Time is so much the horse to beat to me today.
Okay.
Because she's got speed. None of these other gals have speed.
Well, that's it. And you take advantage of that. You're in big trouble with anybody closing down the lane.
They bet. I think I had her at 15 last time, and they bettered her a couple scratches, but they bet her. And you go back and watch the whole race. She was about 6-5 the entire way.
Yeah, really. She traveled beautifully.
Yeah.
But it's time today because you've got some newcomers could. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about one of them. The 5. See You Around now. Clement. Irad didn't do any real running in the pebbles now. I think she's going to have a problem getting up over here at this, fast firm turf course.
Yeah, you said that in our video, and there's a lot of guessing with her. Now, Irad and Clement, Irad is not somebody that Clement reaches out for a lot.
Not much.
Which is, I feel like a good sign here, and this filly needed a race. Now, I'm giving her too much credit with that last race because she just kind of got around there and that was it. But they always typically need a race, especially when she had a few months off from the shipping from France over to New York. I am hoping for more today. I'm cautiously optimistic.
The horse, I'm going to speak for you, and I love what you're doing here. I moved the 7 into 4th because of the scratch. I want nothing to do with Life's an Audible, who we haven't seen since March 2nd. Irad is riding. The 5, the works have been very tepid, no speed at all. She's a fade for me today.
Oh, yeah. Completely.
Yeah, I'll be
I'm
interested to
not using
see.
her yet.
I was real scared putting a 6 by her morning line. I don't think they're going to bet her today either. We'll have to see. She's got a lot of class to her, but this to me looks like a jumping off point for her for much better next out. Let's get to now race 9. This is the second division of the maiden race, but they'll go a mile in this one, okay? The 2-year-olds going out of here. It's a clean field of 9. I think maybe 1 through 9, this race could be a little bit better than the other one. Shot in the Dark, another experienced runner. This one for Jenna Antonucci. 4 starts and chased a really horse I like a lot.
Exactly.
Cool Intentions was awesome the other day, and he's a Triple Crown horse too.
Yep, that's a good race. It was a fast race. This horse has a lot of bottom in him for a trainer. Jenna Antonucci, you're really good at getting her home here, but this is one that I love the fact when you go this 1 mile distance, you have to have some semblance of fitness here. It's not easy to do at all. And this was a horse that I kind of doubled back to this morning just looking at it. It was a big sheep figure too, which is a good sign here. And the horse got faster going from he improved from the 6 furlongs to the mile, which is a progression you want to see.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, if the firsters aren't much, he's the one in here. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I'm against the 2 firsters. We'll get to them in a second. This is a total stab with Virage. I mean, this is Chad Brown's second out. Bolt Doro out of a Curlin mare. I'm certainly not going to speak for the barn, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day, but I would assume he ran this horse at Aqueduct for the 2 turns, not the turf.
Yeah, definitely. I watched the race like 3 different times, and I couldn't figure out anything with this horse. He didn't show any interest. No. Irad didn't push him to show anymore, and we'll see what happens at 4:21 in the PM.
Yeah, second time maidens 28%. This is a dirt pedigree from top to bottom.
Exactly.
If he can run it all, we'll see it at 4:21 in the PM. The one is Rapture. It's great to see Brad Cox's name back in the entry box here at Gulfstream Park. I'm going to think he's going to run a relatively select group. I'm not against this horse, but the rail and a mile, and I just want to see what we get from the Cox 2-year-olds or how many 3-year-olds it's coming soon as well, what they're going to give here.
I'm interested to see that too, because we talked about this race a couple days ago just because I was curious on your thoughts and what kind of horses are we going to get that Brad Cox is sending to South Florida. I don't know. The work in Keeneland, it was October 12th. It was a nice work, but again, that was in October, so it's hard to really get a gauge.
5th foal out of the dam. None of them could run at all.
No.
None of them won on debut either. They paid $300. Tyler's here. All positive signs. Vassimo, the Fletcher Irad firster on the outside. Let's take a look at his activity. Conversely, there's a nice pedigree here.
There is a nice pedigree, which only $120,000 a Keeneland year.
Odd,
that's
right?
not a lot of money at all. You look at him here. He's not working with anything at all. He's got a big, long stride, but this doesn't look like a wow horse, right?
No.
This doesn't look like a normal Todd Pletcher, wow, this one is going to go places. He comes right off the bit to me. He looks like he could eat up every bit of the grass.
Yeah, Vassimo, I guess is probably what we'll call him.
Yeah.
The dam was nice. She won our Grade 2 Devona Dale as a 3-year-old filly. Grade 1 stakes place. I'll say this, it's a good post for this horse to go a mile from the outside. I think that's positive. But I agree with what Samantha said, Not that this horse is could be a star. That's not what I mean. But the Pletchers, you see him 500, 700, whatever. Paid $120 for this horse.
Yeah, it's not much.
The Nyquist sell, too. So we'll have to take a wait and see. Tab the tote board, both on the 1 and on the 9, too, because they are supposed to be the favorites in here. If they're not, then maybe you want to wonder a little bit. Late double in race 10. We'll go a mile and a 16 on the Tapeta. These are 3-year-olds and up. Your tag is $10,000. Scratch the 3. Holy moly, Moses is out.
Ooh.
And, Valentine Bug, I get it. Let's take a look at the replay.
Yeah.
Valentine Bug. But, boy, Swan Lake, Valentine Bug picked up pieces. Second time Gulfstream, maybe that's the angle?
Maybe. Brian, to be honest, I don't know what to do with this race. So I guess we'll look at
Swan Lake ran
earlier.
like the race of the meet somehow. I don't know why. He's the horse in second was 74-1. He was dead last.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this horse just has caught some air under his wings now. You look at that. He was just nagged along the whole way.
Yeah, I wanted to show that. That's why.
Then that's important to note here. You see Bringer of Rain does what he always does. Valentine Bug was way too far out of it. Needs to be way closer than that. But if Swan Lake gets the lead, I don't think they're beating him.
If we took a photo of the half-mile point when a 74-1 is two-path dueling with Swan Lake, and you look at the half-mile fraction, you would have said Swan Lake would have been ninth. And somehow he guts it out.
Keeps going.
He keeps going and wins. She said it perfectly. If he I don't even know if it matters if he makes the front or not. He's just been in great form again. Kudos to the connections for getting him back rolling. I think your horse is dangerous second time now over the oval. I want to give a mention, though, to Melnick, the 2. I know he's a Woodbine horse. You hear us time and time again. Maybe they need a race. He does have 2 local wins.
He does.
And Billy Torinos had a big, big winner here last year.
And you look at the drill on the Tapeta. Of course, they're all very fast, but that December one, I like what you're doing here, putting him in the mix, because this could be maybe a dangerous one. I feel like that with the Woodbine horses, we typically want to see them with the start when they're sprinting, but when they're going to turn, sometimes you can get away with it.
I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Billy's going to work him fast, so just take note of that. He's a guy that's going to amp him up in the mornings, but he's also a guy that knows what he's doing. And he had a big winter here last year, and he really had a better Woodbine than he's ever had, about 24%. One of the good guys. Okay, best for last in the Derby, race number 11, the Tropical Park Derby, $140, $140,000 on the line, mile and 16th on the turf. The rails are at 45 feet. The gang, everybody's here. Just scratched the 8. Longshot Ninja Star in the AEs. The 13 and the 14 are out. Anybody that wanted to be a big contender is here, and I'm with you absolutely 100%. Let's show you Silent Heart. How or why he paid $10, we still don't know.
I know,
but what a return to Gulfstream this was.
Yeah, this was huge. We all picked him on top. I think I know Ron had him as our best bet. You and I think we singled him, and we all just missed the bet on this horse, which was, we didn't think.
And they always bet Brian.
They always bet Brian. This horse ran so professionally, and we'll see In a Jam. In a Jam, to me, I think is just not a stakes horse, but you got to run him in these spots because he's running second. But Silent Heart, the way he just drew away there was amazing. The horse has been breezing. You couldn't ask for like a better breeze pattern coming into this race here today. What a good draw, too.
And I love his running style.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely perfect for over there. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better style. He wants the 2-path stalk or press. He's going to get first run. Now, Cugino, I think, to be fair, maybe I'm not being fair, he's got a little more speed maybe than I give him credit for.
Yeah.
But, right now his big whoop is wiring the Autobahn at Churchill, and I don't really care about that.
Exactly. That's we say this a lot about the Churchill Downs turf course, that form sometimes doesn't hold up. And you could say the same thing about the Gulfstream Park turf course as well. They're just different types of grass that they can get a hold of. Now, Cugino, to me, does his best running when he is on the front or let out a notch. And you could see that when Jockey Flavie and Pratt, what a year he's had. As soon as he got on him, the horse wins by daylight. So he just was finally kind of just let loose. And the last race, Deterministic, I think, is a really, really nice horse.
Yeah.
Really nice horse on the grass. So I'm not sure. I think, is he a mile and a 16th horse? I feel like a mile and an 1/8 is a bit more his.
This is going to be really sharp for him.
Right.
Now, he's all class. You can see the graded stakes races. The Hall of Famer Shug, Irad, West Point. They're going to bury this horse on the tote board. But I think he's a little vulnerable today.
Yep.
I mean, Deterministic, I haven't seen this at all, but, I mean, he's a Pegasus World Cup turf kind of horse. He's a serious horse. So you run second to him, and you're doing good things. But I just feel like the value today is going to lie with Silent Heart. You're actually going to try to split up this exacta. I couldn't do it. Palm Tree, to me, his only good, you talk about him, because his only quote-unquote good figure was at Kentucky Downs.
Yeah, which is not good, and I didn't even pay attention to that figure there. The race at the Belmont at Aqueduct in October, it wasn't that great, honestly. He'd only beat a couple horses home, but Brendan's got 2 Godolphin horses in today, and his percentage is just significantly higher with Godolphin horses. And now I might not be enamored with these horses, but Tyler Gaffleone does ride here today for him, and that's Brendan's main guy here, and he's got off to a good start this meet. So I'm going to just try to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, and you're going to also break up a very chalky exacta if
Yeah.
you can do it, and that's that's not a bad thing either,
Right.
because I think the board is going to belie the point that the distance between Gugino and Silent Heart and the rest of them, I think the gap is pretty big in here. I think if you're looking for something really outside the box, the Philly race is the one. Okay, no one for you. Live high, live low.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about live high, live low.
His big numbers are sprinting, but I did a podcast the other day. If you're ever going to be a sprint horse, but you're going to get 2 turns, it's right over here.
Exactly.
And he's drawn well.
Yeah, he really is. And I think we've got a stat on George Weaver,
Okay.
too. We'll just toss it up here and see what this is about. Sprint to route on the
Not
grass. Not great. But to be fair, George Weaver doesn't run a lot of horses here, for one. And 2, this is a move. I mean, he spots them in good places.
Yeah.
So there's no, the sprint to route may be a little bit less than it looks.
This is a great post for this
Yeah.
horse. This horse is crazy fast in those last 2 races. Sheets, Byers, whatever
yeah,
you want to look at.
Crazy fast. But also, they're sprint numbers. So
They are.
do you double it and make it,
Right.
But the thing that scared me when I looked at this race or this horse, the win is at Meadowlands and Monmouth. Those
Yeah.
are the 2 wins this
In
year.
both of those big figures were at Aqueduct, too, and that's not what we're getting over here.
Right.
Okay, that's a night and day different turf course. One thing I will add, if you like this horse, Edgard Zayas is aboard, and Edgard has put on a couple clinics,
Ooh.
saving every single inch of ground. And he'll try to do it again here. And I do think this horse is at least a B in here. If you want to, if you're talking late 5 and 4 in Rainbow, I think you want to use this horse because I think you have a perfect jockey now. It's going to save every inch of ground that knows that turf course over there better than anybody here, to be sure. What an 11 race card we have for you today, saving the best for last in the Derby. It's a quick lightning round, as it should be with all we got through. But the TT Pick 3 is in race number 5 today, and I'll bet a beverage of choice that it'll be the biggest pool we've had so far at the championship meet.
Yep, it's got to. It's such a competitive field. It's 5, 8, and 11 here today, or competitive fields as a whole. Tons of horses that make up this sequence in so many ways you could go. I've got the Anger, of course. Brian and I, we've got our video out there on Twitter. Just some picks if you want to dive in a little bit more into it. But what a good race! Races.
Beat the Expert, the best looking Beat the Expert we have here. Ronnie might fight me on that, but it's you today.
It is. It's me today. So make sure to get involved. You can sign up online. And Brian's up next week, but we'll see how it goes.
Next week, and we'll talk about it nonstop, but next week is Pegasus World Cup Preview Day, and we're drawing that race today. So how about that? Hey, sad one, too. A couple of sad ones yesterday. Lemon Drop Kid passed away.
Yeah.
He was probably a little before your time. What a racehorse he was. But our Derby winner and the Kentucky Derby winner, always dreaming, 10 years old, too young to pass.
Yeah, it is. And in Oklahoma, too. It's a
Oh, that's
shame.
right,
He had a bout with colic, and they got over the hump, but then I read that it just kind of went back the other way. It's unfortunate when that happens. Of course, he was the last Todd Pletcher runner that won the Florida Derby and then went on to win the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, you said it, and that was 2017. So always dreaming. Rest in peace for him, the Hall of Famer John Velasquez aboard there. And then no long shots for us today. Everybody lost their long shots, which is total buzzkill, but best bet for you.
In the finale in the Tropical Park Derby, yeah.
That is a great race to have a best bet, and that horse is not going to be favored either. My best bet a little bit early to kick off the late pick 5, right in the middle of everything. The Rainbow Commendatore in race 7. The one horse might lose some value there with 3 scratches as well. That's it, 11 of them for you. We're so happy you're aboard with us today on a phenomenal day of racing here, ending with the Tropical Park Derby in race 11. Pete's upstairs with your scratches and chain as Ronnie's out here for the opener. Best of luck today, and happy to have you aboard.